Hopefully you enjoyed the first video I did of, trying to show you what Luminar can do as a tool to help you edit portraits. And, for those of you with a really keen eye, as you can see, it's the small details that it's going to take care of. One of the things that I'm seeing from Luminar so far is that it does a lot of small things in the back, and it does so without totally breaking up your picture. And as I said before, your miles may vary based on what it is that you're looking for out of the program, what you want it to do. And, if it's something that you want to use just to do some minor edits to make sure you do some great pictures, that's great. Because I'm going to say it like this: from what I was taught, um, my teacher taught me, if you make sure that you compose your shot in camera, you don't have to do a lot afterwards. So that's usually the goal I go for when I go to get some pictures in. So that way, when I go back to edit, I'm spending a lot less time trying to go in and fine tune stuff. I do have a lot of friends out there, when they edit, they go for broke and they want to do everything, and that's fine. Me personally, I like to make sure I got my shot right. So that way, when I go to edit, I'm spending a small amount of time making sure that I have to go and fix things, because, yeah, people want to see a good image. People don't want to see something that's so heavily edited that they can really tell. But, again, your miles may vary. So anyway, so one of the other things I wanted to bring your attention to is how to do like landscape and this whole AI sky thing, because for a lot of people, especially those of you that go on vacation, you might go on a once in a lifetime trip, or you might have like a one time shot that you got to get. And of course, when you're outside, everyone knows the sky is not always going to be your friend. So what are you going to do? Now, you could take those images, you could go in Photoshop, and you could do everything you can in Photoshop to get the picture that you wanted. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of work. So one of the things that I've appreciated out of Luminar is that it can take some of that work out of your hands. So the biggest thing that honestly sold me on this program is that it has an AI sky, in which you can take a picture, you can drop your sky in, and it changes the entire picture. And it because of, again, the AI technology, it takes into account everything that's going on in your picture before, like, you just drop it in there. Now, I will caution people before you just go willy-nilly adding skies to everything, because I'm quite sure a lot of people that get this program, that's probably the first thing that they try it out. Before you go start posting stuff online, throwing things on your Instagram, posting anything on social media, one, be careful what you're doing. Don't go overboard with this. I mean, I think that's with anything. Take your time. Make sure that you're doing it for the benefit of, hey, I just want to have a nice picture, not just, oh my God, this is incredible, look at this, and doing things unrealistically. Because, you know, we're going to start with this example here of London. You just don't want to go willy-nilly and just add any old sky in there, because, to be quite frank, you throw something like this up online, and someone that's from London, they're going to call you out on it. They were like, no, that's not right. The sky hardly ever looks like this where I'm from. So I'm just throwing that up there as a warning. Just be careful of what you're doing when you decide to start just throwing skies in places where the sky doesn't necessarily need to be. Now, I will say this, even talking to my wife Gina, who's a graphics designer, has been doing graphics design for over 20 years. She sees some value in this, because for what I was able to do in about 20 minutes, maybe less, she says just with the addition of the sky in would have taken her up to about an hour to do, considering the fact that you have to take everything into account and making sure that you're masking and using your layers and things of that sort. So, all right. enough of that. Let's talk about this picture. So I took this picture back in 2015. I was on the I, and I got home. I liked this picture. I didn't love it. I liked it because, of course, you got all of, the Parliament building in the background, and, the whole of, see, this is what I was talking about. Stay put. Luminar, come on. You got the whole of West London, looking out west going on. So, and the thing is, this was around sunset because actually, if you kind of look, it's 10 after 6. And yeah, by the way, I was not using the greatest camera in the world. So yes, my picture was not pin sharp. So how do I go about making this a little bit better? What can this tool do to a 5-year-old picture to add some pop to it? So watched a couple of tutorials on YouTube of people that were doing the same thing, taking some of the photographs and getting some pizzazz in it by adding some sky. So the very first thing a lot of them stated before you go in and do any other edits, find your sky. So you come over here to the creative tool, you hit the drop down, and right here, AI sky replacement, you have your sky selection. So you do drop down, and they give you like a nice little set to start off with. Now, just to mess around, let me show you what I was talking about. Like, you don't want to get crazy. So we're going to go to Galaxy 1. Yeah. That's nowhere near the word of right. Okay. I mean, now, if you want to play artist and you want to okay, I just want to do something surreal, have at it. But, this is like the most extreme thing. But you got selections like you have your blue sky, where you can throw in some clouds. You got your bright blue sky where you can throw in some more clouds and things of that sort. And the thing of it is just like, as you can see, it just kind of, that's what I'm talking about, Luminar, stay put. Throw stuff in and see what sticks. But again, you have to be careful with what you're throwing in because you still have to take into account where the light falls. So I wanted to try sunsets. I wanted because again, this was close to the time the sun was going down. This was early October. So what about dramatic sunsets? Yeah, that's a little too dramatic. It's way too dramatic. It's cool. It's like, oh my God, look at that. But no, that just wasn't right. Let's hop down a little bit. Let's do dramatic sunset number 5. Little too moody. Actually, this would be a little bit closer to what I was looking for that particular time of day. And matter of fact, let's see, where is that tool? Is it in advanced settings? Another thing you can do if you want to experiment, you can always flip your sky. But you got to be careful with what's going on in the back because as you can see, that sky starts blending in with your horizon. There's a horizon blending tool that you can use. And you can either really paint it in there or you can take it off. So yeah, you got to be careful with that horizon. And I'm going to get to the positioning in a second. So what I eventually wound up settling on, just for the example, I went to Sunset 4. Sunset 4 for this example was a little closer to what I was looking for. And I'm actually going to flip this again. This was a little closer to what I was looking for when I imagined what, on a good day that London sunset would look like. And actually the funny thing, I noticed after the fact, like whomever did this, there's a little tiny helicopter right there just kind of going off into the sunset. Now, again, you got your horizon positioning, which you can lower because it just looks kind of odd. You got that little ball of sun sitting there. So we're going to lower that just a tad. And let's zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, that horizon paints itself right in. For those of you that are used to going into Photoshop and you got the paint, see the wires and stuff, you don't have to go in and paint between the wires. It it's there. Now the thing of it is we're going to have to adjust because as you can see the clouds now are just kind of dipping right here. So you got to use that blend. Let me see if I take it down. Will reduce? No, actually it heightened it. So let's go up. Up. Yeah, so this is something that you have to kind of play with. Kind of make sure that, you know, your clouds and your actual environment don't blend in too much. You use the global. Now the global is a little bit more fine tuning if you want to fine tune that. So as you can see, if I go up, I get this, and if I go down a little bit, it blends it a little bit more. So let's. This is academic, y'all. Just, you know, before and after, before and after. This is really academic. Matter of fact, let's come all the way out. So yeah, this is blah. And this is ooh, blah, ooh. Now I'm not yet done because the thing of it is like, okay, you got the nice sky in there. You should have, you got your drama. Technically, yeah, if you want to walk away and you're done and this makes you happy, sure. But you got all these nice little tools. Now, one thing, let me come back to something else because I'm sure some of you will probably like, okay, well, what's going on right here? So you got your sky defocus. Please, pretty self-explanatory. You go in, let's just take it all the way out. But yeah, remember, keep in mind your foreground, your background before you start messing with the focus. Because even at the smallest level, while I have all this in focus, my sky is out of focus. And for this, I kind of prefer it to be in focus. So, damn. So yeah, make sure you take this into account when you're editing your pictures and you decide, hey, I'm going to throw a sky here. Temperature, self-explanatory. You go lower, you make it cooler. You go up, you make it warmer. For this particular example, let's make it just a little cool. So I'm going to come down to about 20. So we're going to cool that out just a little bit right there. Then exposure, you can brighten it. You can really get that drama. You know, me, I was pretty happy when I originally did this. I was really happy with just leaving it about 5 because, like I said, I didn't want to go too crazy on it. That's fine. And then, oh yeah, you could do sun rays. Again, just be careful where you do your sun rays and everything. For those that don't know what sun rays are, those are your little God rays and stuff like that. So do them out, and you can do your little bursts and things like that. That's what you can do. And actually, let's look at something too. If you notice, wherever that light is falling over the picture, if you notice the picture itself adjusts to that light. So like, yeah, if you ever get a picture that you decide you want to use this little handy dandy tool and move it in, yeah, it'll adjust the picture for that. But we don't need it for this. I just want to show you what it does. Oh, and you can adjust the rays, all that stuff. You can. Now the thing I want to figure out is whether or not you can change the color. Oh, there we are, the warmth. So yeah, if you ever decide, hey, I need to do a sunrise picture and you want to fake a sun, you can pretty much fake a sun. You can, like, yeah, you're playing God now. All right, so bye sun. We don't need that. Not for this. Now, with this, and because quite frankly, this wasn't the greatest photo in the world, it's like, okay, so I want to add a little more structure to it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of accents. So I want to get my clarity on because I want to add a little oomph to the picture. So yeah, as you can see, you got some more clarity. So you can see some of the finer details. It's not the greatest thing in the world because, like I said, it wasn't a good. Well, it's not that it wasn't a good photograph. I like the photograph myself, but the quality of the photograph. And Daryl, if you're out there listening, this was before I took AI1. If I had known then what I knew now, this picture would have been a lot better. So yeah, me and Gina are already plotting to go back to London sometime in our lifetime. But yeah, you can use that to get some accent here. Now, the thing I've not tried yet is to see whether or not can you enhance the sky after you've already placed the sky. So you got your AI sky enhancer. So yeah, it adds a little bit more mood to the picture. So again, it's academic. Before, but let me get in there, and after. And I'm still not done because now what I want to do, I want to add some vibrance to the color here because the colors still look kind of drab. So you can come in, grab that color tool, take a little bit of color to that photograph. Be careful if you want to saturate. You can saturate just a tiny bit, just to add a little life to the picture. Because again, before, just dry. After, take the vibrance down a little bit. Actually, it's a little too vibrant. Remove color cast. I've not tried that yet. So advanced settings. So yeah, advanced settings, kind of obvious what you can do. So like if I wanted to fire up my greens a little bit, make my greens a little more greeny or darker or lighter, as you can see, even in the sky. Now remember, when you mess with these particular tools, it does take everything into account. So let's just make my greens a little more dark. My reds, just scotch a bit more red. What can we do for our oranges and our browns? So let's saturate just a little bit and come down. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, but this is what you get when you decide you want to play around. Oh, forgot about this. Details enhancer. So this is kind of a sharpening tool, but not a sharpening tool because it can enhance, as you can see, small details. So you can make it a little more sharp, and you know, you might not be able to see, yeah. So it does add a little bit for the small details. It gets in there and it really brings out some of those fine details, the thing that you missed on a global scale. So on a global scale, this is like sharpening some of the smaller stuff. If I want to go in, I want to go large. And again, the caution is making sure that you don't over sharpen your photo. So I'm going to bring this back there. And as you can see, there's also a sharpening tool, which is just like, yeah, we're just going to sharpen everything. So if I just take that up to 100, yeah, it's going to sharpen everything. We don't want to do that. We just want to leave that there. Small details are fine because, again, the picture quality itself when I took it wasn't all that great, but I just want to add a little more punch, a little more zippy, sharp quality to the picture. And, you know, even though, like, upon close inspection, it's like, yeah, I see the grain, I see the noise, but from way out, it's much better than where it started. So again, ad nauseum, before London's dry, desolate, dark place. After, yeah, I'd do that. I would do this. This is a good postcard picture. And of course, I know some of you have been like distracted by this on the side. Yeah, if I wanted to get rid of this, yeah, you got an erase tool. So let's try the erase tool. You got that little bar over there from, oh, excuse me, you got this bar over here from the London Eye, and it might be bugging the heck out of you. How do I get rid of it? So we're gonna try to paint this. And I want to see what I get. So I'm gonna come down to the bridge there. And then I'm going to ask it to erase and see if we just get water. And I'm sure this could be fixed. Again, this is something, if you want to go back in Photoshop and you want to fix it, you can fix it. You can fix it and, you know, just get a good start. Now I'm going to come here And I'm going to see if I can add some bridge on here. Can I get some bridge? Will you give me some bridge, man? And it told me go play in traffic. So yeah, something like this, especially if you don't want to crop, we're gonna clear the selection. We're gonna get our bar back. If you don't want to crop the picture, you try to do some fine tuning here. You can always take another editor and go in and do what you need to do to erase it out and everything. Now, I'm gonna say it like this: I am not your Photoshop guy. If I wanted this photoshopped, I'd ask Gina to go in and clean it up on the back end. But, and I'm sure somebody out there smarter than me probably knows how to use the right tools to go in here and fix this and things of that. So there's actually a clone stamp tool over here. So, I'll forward that later and see if that fixes the issue and everything. But just for the time being, for the bigger, more major stuff of actually taking a drab picture, come on, grab it. Grab the picture. Come on. Come on, Luminar. There we go. All right. Oh, you know what? I didn't hit the done button. Yeah. Sometimes when you're done, you got to hit the done button before it does anything else. Anyway, taking a drab picture like this and adding some life to it where you can, you see the major buildings like the Parliament Building and Westminster Abbey, this comes a long way for people that just really want to get in and just do some basic stuff. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't know, I flip back to this, but yeah, since I'm here, when you want to do some portrait editing and you want it to do some of the things that you really don't have the time or may not have, honestly, some of the knowledge for to do in other programs, you can get in there, you can scout around and do some of the fixes that you need to do, and it cuts down on your work time. So that's all I got from here. Like I said, this is just a demonstration. If you got questions, if you want to know more, just reach out and hit me. Thanks for watching. I'm out.